Welcome, everyone. Hello. It's great to see you.
Hi, everybody.
We're here with Lindsay, and we want to welcome you in our webinar series called The Artist in the Teacher, organized by LanguageCert. We're delighted that you can join us. Silvia Carastafi, I'm the head of teacher support for LanguageCert, and with our team here who's helping us, we want to welcome you. I want us to write, could you write a hello as you do on the chat? It's great to see all of you joining from across our regions, and we see a number of people joining from Europe, but also from Asia. Lindsay, hello, good morning. Where are you joining us from?
Good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Wow, I'm so excited to be here. My name's Lindsay, and I'm joining you from Spain. But as you can tell from my accent, I am not Spanish. I am Canadian, but I live in Spain. So I'm joining you from the south of Spain, where it's kind of nice and warm
Oh, that's lovely.
right now. But I'm seeing lots of people from Greece, Ukraine, London, Sydney, Pakistan, Barcelona, Romania, Perth, Saudi Arabia. It's wonderful to see such an international group as the room begins to fill up. So very happy to be doing this. Thank you, Language Cert.
It's great to have you here. And we wanted to invite you to the series because we've been thinking with our speakers about this topic and about the artist in the teacher. And we wanted to think about how we can integrate arts into the curricula. We've been talking about different kinds of art forms, and a couple of words of introduction for our series as we are as we start. Perhaps the title, "The Artist in this Teacher," sounds to some like a paradox, and a lot of us think that the qualities that artists may embody, perhaps an unconventional vision, a burning desire to create, and the need to challenge and question existing orders, are perhaps far from teachers' lives. But we also wanted to acknowledge this common ground. And in teaching, we often talk about routines and methods and plans, and we're tied to learning objectives, which must be achieved, and we're tied to an outcome, obviously, for the students' benefits. But also the teaching year, we felt, is long, and sometimes we want to switch things up, and perhaps learning and achieving our goals could also be benefited from some disruption, as also from planning. When we thought about this series, we envisioned it in a literal sense. So how do teachers connect with the qualities that the artists embody? And also towards the end of the school year, we're all perhaps exhausted from the day to day, and could art and music today be a place we can turn to look for power and renewal? And we wanted to embed some disruption in our fine-tuned routines. So this is why we invited our speakers, and Lindsay's here with us to share with participants their own vision of how connecting with the artists within could renew our classrooms. So here we are. We're very, very excited to have Lindsay with us, an award-winning writer, a teacher, a trainer, an international speaker in conferences, and he's done a lot of things. His expertise is online teaching, teacher training, materials development, and he's a course book writer with over 20 course books, so methodology books as well. Lindsay, we are here to learn from your great wisdom, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I've seen one comment about the sound. Can you just type in the chat if you can hear me okay? And then if you get lots of yeses and you cannot, then it's a problem with your connection. So you need to double check your own speakers. There's a bit of echo. Okay, yes, all good. So I'm seeing more yeses. If you have a problem with the sound, maybe go out and come in again, or check your speakers, or plug in some earphones. Sometimes that works. Anyway, we'll begin now. So I'm Lindsay, and this is a very practical talk. It's a workshop. I will be asking you to sometimes type things in the chat, and we'll be listening to some music as well, because these are activities that we're looking that are music-based activities. And we've called this workshop Learning in Tune, sort of a fun one. But what you may notice is my PowerPoint slides, which LanguageCert were awesome in helping me design up. I had some original ideas and they helped me a bit. It's supposed to look a little bit like a famous streaming platform that is Spotify. So these are sort of like my Spotify slides. Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about music in 4 different areas. Okay, we're going to talk about, first of all, using music without music. So using the topic of music to talk about, to generate ideas for conversation lessons, for speaking lessons, vocabulary, etc. Yeah. Then we're going to look at using only music, just tunes. So using music and sound as part of activities. Then we'll do the famous like lyrics stuff. And then we'll look finally at music videos. Okay, so there's something for everyone here. Now, again, I will have chosen my own music for this, things that I like or things that my students like. All of these activities, I think you could probably change to be with music that you like. Okay, so just think of the activities as sort of templates. Let's start off though, before even listening to any music. I think the topic of music, and why I really like this series of webinars from Language Cert about using the arts, is that music is one of the arts that is, I think, the most widely accessible for most learners in a classroom, right? Not that they can make music, but just talking about music. Everybody likes or has liked listening to music. And especially our younger learners, our teenagers even more so, it's really a big part of their lives. So I think a lot of things can be done just with the topic of music. We could, for example, start with vocabulary. Here's an activity where anytime I do instruments, I always find a collection of images of the instrument, and I ask students to start off by miming to each other one of the instruments, and then they have to guess what it is. Once they've done that, so like I may be miming this or this or this, and they have to guess piano, whatever, we do the vocabulary, and then we use it to talk about music instruments that they can play, or which they would like to play, or what adjectives would you use to describe someone who is good at one of these instruments? So you see my questions here, depending on the level, some of the questions get harder. Or someone offers you one of these instruments that's very expensive, a very expensive version of one of these instruments. So describe it. So just using this as like an opener to talk about music, using the vocabulary, but then opening it up to discussion. I think also in discussion, another activity I like to do is questionnaires, where I get students to make their own questions. And here they're all on the topic of music. So let me describe how I do this activity. If you see here, there are 4 different sections. We have making music, listening to music, experiences with music, and a quiz. So I divide the class into 4 groups, A, B, C, D. Group A is making music, and I give them those first 2 starters. Can you play, did you learn or study? And they have to make 2 or 3 questions about making music. Then group B is listening, and they have to do a question beginning with how often, or another question about listening to music, like how often do you listen in the shower? How often do you listen to classical music, etc. Group C is experiences. They make questions. Have you ever been to a concert? Or when was the last time you sang a song? And then group D is they make quiz questions. You know, who wrote this song? Who was in the band? Whatever, yeah? Or who sang this? Once all of the groups have made their questions, I make one person from each group switch to another group, and then they interview the new group with their questions. And then they switch again, and those people keep moving around so that everybody gets interviewed by somebody from the other group. So here, and what I've noticed here is like just the topic of music is such an easy one to do questionnaires. This questionnaire type you can do for any topics. So if you like that idea, it's a very easy one where it's easy for you as a teacher because the students do a lot of the work of making the questions. Obviously, I go and correct them as they're making the questions to make sure that those are right. Okay. Lots of these, by the way, there are questions about adjusting some of these to one-to-one lessons. I've got a lot of activities, so I might not be able to answer all your questions. With that questionnaire, I might have us alternate, me and the student making a question in each category, Julie. I just saw your comment very quickly. Here's another activity that could work for groups or for one-to-one. This is really good with teenagers. It's harder with older people because I think that often older people, as we get older, we forget sometimes the exact titles or kinds of songs, whereas younger people, songs are such an important part of their life. Here is a playlist. So playlists are how young people now share songs or keep songs instead of like the mixtapes that we used to make. So what I ask the students to do is I say, here's a playlist of your life. What you need to do is think of a song for each of these moments. A song that's good for a happy moment, a song for a sad moment, before a test, a morning song, going out, etc. Yeah, and they could add their own ideas. And then they have to share their playlist by talking it through with someone else. Another way of doing this is I say choose 5 of these areas of your life and choose a song for each. Then tell your partner the song and they have to guess where it is on your playlist. Okay? So I'll repeat that. If I gave the students this list, I say choose 5 songs in your mind that go with one song for one of these different things. Yeah, but don't do all 10, just do 5. And now tell a partner the songs and they guess where it is on the playlist. Yeah, so if I told you, I don't know, I can't think of one right now, but I can't think of a song. See, it's harder when you're older. My teenagers, my 20-year-old son would be able to do this in an instant because his music, he's got things for every kind of moment of his day. Okay. Here is a neat little graphic that I made that looks like kind of the volume of a thing. And you see at the one part, it goes for disagree with deep red and then agree for lighter red. You can do this on the board with disagree and agree. And what I have here is I say we're going to do a debate where you have to go and stand on one side of the class, the disagree side if you disagree with the statement, or the agree side if you agree with the statement. And then I share statements for students that then we use as a debate. And music works really well for this. So for example, I would write, or I would say, live concerts are too expensive. And then students have to stand like on one end of the class or the other end. Sometimes I get like 3 students to come up to the front and I say, you move on the line, the imaginary line where you are. You know, classical music is the best music. Agree or disagree? And they have to stand at a certain point. And then I say to them, explain why you're standing here. Explain why you're standing there, etc. Old people do not like modern music. Modern music isn't really music. If your music isn't on TikTok, it can't be famous. That's one of the things my sons once said to me now. So using music even just as like for opinions. So we can use it for vocabulary, we can use it as conversation topics, or we can use it as a kind of debates because people will have strong opinions about music. So that, my first part there was just looking at music without even listening to music. Just music and accessing the area of music in our lives, either for vocabulary, for personalization, for opinions, and different kinds of speaking activities. But we can also use, of course, music itself. Now, when I started as a teacher, the only activity I thought of doing for a song was a gap fill. Like I would copy out the words to a song, the lyrics, and I would make some gaps and I would photocopy the worksheet, give it to the students would listen and complete the gaps. Did any of you do that as well? A gap fill for a song? It's fun and it's not wrong, like it's not a bad activity, but I just think now with experience, there are so many other things that I can do. So here is a very simple one using just clips. And what I'm using here, I'm going to be sharing some clips with you from like a public bank of like artists sharing little clips. So like common clips. The problem is that when you hear the clip, you'll sometimes hear it'll say Artless IO. It's like a little mark that they say. Don't worry about that because we're just listening to the type of music. But because I got the clips for free, I got the little marker of the website it's from. Okay. So here the activity is I pretend to the students, I say, you are all, this is with teenagers, I say, I want you to imagine you are music managers. You are managing rock groups or music groups. Here are some tapes from new artists. You need to think what kind of person likes the music and how could you market it? Like where would you put it? What kind of person likes this music? So let's just do an example here.
Artlist.io.
So that would be the first one. What kind of person might like this kind of music? Type just an answer. Young, old, male, female, all, surfy, older people, old spaghetti Western lovers, etc. Yeah. And so then students will then pretend like they have a little project where they have to say, okay, I would market this. I would try to put it in ads for this kind of thing, or I would try to make it in a movie, put it into a movie for this, or I would sell it as part of, like, if it's a surfer music, I would put this at a surf show or play it on the beach. Let's listen to another one. Here's the next one. What kind of person might like this music?
Artlist.io.
So, for example, someone's writing cultured people, elderly, probably female, romantic, someone who reads Jane Austen, old, calm, middle-aged, also young, romantic, etc. Yeah. So this is like also great for doing adjectives, describing people, etc., and using music as that way. So some of you, this is like one activity, artists and repertoire. Let's go on to another one. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay. Here is the same kind of activity, but now doing it in a slightly different style, where I play them a piece of music. So I do this a different day. I don't do all these activities the same day. But this one, I ask them to think where they might hear this, and what I'm going to ask you is, imagine this music is used in an advertisement. What are they selling? So listen to the music, and now imagine you are in charge of an advertising company and you have this music. What is it selling? What is the ad for? Okay?
Artlist.io.
Wonderful. Cat food, perfume, fashion, perfume, guiding exam preparation solution. Ah, yes, someone is here for the language shirt exams. Biscuits, breakfast food, a relaxing weekend, cars. I've done this so many times. Lots of people say cars. I like the idea of perfume, and I love the cat food idea. Yeah? Okay. So this is now going a bit more in detail using, so for this activity, you find any bits of instrumental music that students don't know. Again, you can find some of this online, and you play it, and the students have to then think of like what is it selling, yes, and what is happening in the advertisement. Okay? Did you like this one? It's a fun activity. Okay. Oops. Now we can even take it further, okay? And instead of advertisements, we look at films or TV shows. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing again. This is what I ask the students to do. They have to write on a piece of paper, place, people, action. Yeah? Place, people, action. And I say, you're going to now hear music, and I want you to imagine this is from a movie or a television show. And on your paper, you need to write where it is, where you think the scene is, who are the people in the scene, and what is happening. So for each bit of music, it's like a scene. And so you have to say where, who the people are, and the action. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to do it. You don't have to type all of those things, but just type your ideas of either people, place, or action. This is a scene from a movie, music from a scene from a movie.
Artlist.io.
Okay, so lots of people are saying Western. I chose it deliberately for Western. Now, what the students have to do is they don't have to say what kind of music it is. They have to say the place. So someone wrote a saloon. Someone wrote a people, cowboys. Someone wrote action as they're preparing for a fight. Someone wrote Route 66. Bikers, a bar preparing for a fight, or bikers in a bar playing pool, or a loner on a horse. Sun is going down in a desert. Yeah, so that's one. Let's look at the next one. Ready? Get ready for the next one. And now write either the place or the people or the action. Here we go.
Artlist.io.
Okay, good. I've got space mission, pirates on the sea, a battlefield, preparing for battle, a ship before a battle, spaceship, Audrey or Amanda, or like pirate ship. Hastings battle, so like 1066 on the sea. Spaceship landing on Mars, the army, Anwar says. Aliki also says battle. Anyway, so I go with the students and I say, make sure you have something in the place, make sure you have something in the people, and make sure you have something in the action. So once they have all of those three, we go through that. Oops. So I then say, now choose one of those pieces of the music. I play them again. And now they have the elements. Now write the scene. What is happening? So now they have to write the whole scene out with a partner, right? So we know that it's a loner on a horse in the desert, and so they have to start writing the scene. Like a man is on a horse in the desert. It's hot. He has a hat over his head. You cannot see his face. He is riding, or something like that. Or it's an army. They are marching on Mars. A spaceship is taking off. It is the end. It's a big battle, or something like that. So they're doing that. They're asking for words. They write the scene to go with the music that they chose. So that's like a writing activity in stages, using the music as a prompt. Okay? Also with music for TV and shows and films and stuff like that, you can find lots of quizzes on YouTube. If you search on YouTube, I don't have time to do this really with you now, but if you have quiz on YouTube, look for like movie soundtrack quiz, and they have tons of them. And I sometimes do this at the end of a class with students for a bit of fun, where I say you have to guess the movie it's from, but you have to use your expressions like it must be, it might be, this could be, maybe it's from, etc. Yeah, but there are lots of really good ones there. Okay, so we've looked now at music as like a topic for vocabulary, discussion, personalization, debates, opinions. And then we looked at just music, no lyrics, and just using music to prompt creativity in language, writing activities, speaking activities, thinking about how music is used around us. Now let's look at lyrics, okay? We're going to do activities with lyrics. So here, is the first activity I always did was the gap fill, right? But here's one that I've recently started doing. Now, if you work in a country where your students all share the same language, you can do this. If you are teaching in a context where everyone has different first languages, you cannot do this activity, sorry. But this is one of the few activities where it's only restricted to like everyone has to share a language. In my case, it's Spanish. And so what you do is you find the lyrics to an English song and put them into a Word document or a PowerPoint slide, and you go through and you translate key words and phrases, replacing them with words and phrases in the student's L1. Yeah, you don't put the highlights. You put it normally. I put it in red here so you can see it, but normally it would just be all like that. Yeah, then students have to find the words and translate them back. So here we have words from a song by Harry Styles, and the students see all the words from Just Stop Your Crying. So this part here on the right side of the screen, they have to find the Spanish words. For example, Bienvenidos al, hope you're wearing tu mejor atuendo. You can't sobornar la puerta on your way al cielo. Te ves bastante bien down here, but you ain't realmente bueno. I don't know if any of you speak Spanish, but if you do, you can try, or you can even try without speaking Spanish. Like, what do you think these words mean? What are they? What's the English words? So students go through and they try to translate the words back. Then is when I say, okay, now we're going to watch and see. So I'm going to change over here. Can you see the new screen? Yeah? Everyone can see the YouTube video thing? Yes, okay. I found, for example, here a YouTube video of this song with the subtitles in English and in Spanish. So this was great for my students. You might not be able to do that, but you could find it probably with the subtitles in English. So here we go back and check the answer.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. Welcome to the final show.
So there was Benvenido al is welcome to.
I hope you're wearing your best clothes.
It's your best clothes. They had atuendo, which was a strange word in Spanish, but that was the translation they gave.
You can't bribe the door on your way to the sky. You look pretty good down here, but you ain't really good.
So let me go back to sharing my presentation here. So here it's a very easy activity that you can do with any song that your students would like in English, that they all share the same language. You find some words in the song, you translate them into the student's language, you give them the text, they find and translate back, then the listening is listening to check the answers. This always works for me with students. It even works better sometimes when they don't know that it's a song. So I give them, I'm like, we're doing a translation exercise, find the words, and I say, let's check the answers, and then I play the song or the video with the lyrics for them to check. Yeah? Is that clear? Everyone understand how that works? Okay, good. So there we are. That's called planted words. So when I said earlier that when I did lyrics with songs, when I started as a teacher some 25 years ago or 27 years ago, I only gave a gap fill. I didn't know what to do. But there are other options now that I've discovered since the gap fill. I want to share with you 3 or 4 of these, okay? So first of all, one possibility is you take all the verbs out of a part of lyrics and put them on the board. Students complete the lyrics with the missing verbs. So you give them like a paragraph from the song with no verbs, and the verbs are all on the board. They have to first try to figure it out themselves and then complete the song without with the verbs from the board. Now listen and check. Another one is you cut the lyrics, or with a word processor, you cut the lyrics down the middle, and then you jumble up one other half. Students try to match the lyrics that go together, and then they listen and check. A third area, instead of doing a gap fill, is you add one extra word to each lyric. Students go through the lyrics and identify the word that they think does not apply. Listen and check. Now, I've done one example. We're going to do one song, and I've got each of these activities. So get your camera ready. If you have a phone camera and you're able to take a photo of what you see here, you're going to choose one of these activities to try to do, okay? So here's the first one. The verbs are all taken out. So if you want to choose this one, take an image, take a quick screenshot of this slide. I mean, if you don't want to do any, you just listen to the whole thing. But so this is one the activity, or if you want to do option 2, take a picture of this one. Or if you want to do option 3, take a picture of this one. I'll go through all three again. That's option 1. Option 2. Option 3. Same song. And now we're going to hear that part of the song and you try to do the exercise that you chose. By the way, with the students, I would only choose one of these. With you, I want to show you all of them. That's why I'm giving you 3 options. With the students, that's too complicated. I would just choose one. Anyway, let's see how you do. What a great song. Anyway, so there, you would choose one of those things, right? So this, if they'd done this one, they would have tried to put the words back and then they listen and check, or this one, they match, or this one, yeah. And the song, people wrote it. If you don't know and you're like, wow, what song is that? It is More Than a Feeling by Boston. By the way, my sons, when they saw this, they did force me to put some songs. Like they forced me to put the Harry Styles, which is nice because all of my songs are like oldie person songs. And you'll see later. You'll see which ones my sons and their friends recommended and which ones I chose. Okay. Here's another nice idea. Yeah. This one here is like a pronunciation exercise where we use lyrics. And here what you do is you select words that rhyme in a song. And you jumble them up and put them on the board and display them. And the students have to find the matching words. So let's do this. Yeah? There's the sound, sh, e, a, oi, ow. And now you have to find the 2 words that go with the sound. So for example, away goes with, yeah, stay, a, stay. Patiently, notice me, yeah, etc. Voice, boys, etc. Yeah, and so once you don't tell them that they're doing a song yet, we just do this. So we say, let's do some pronunciation, some words. Away, stay. Everybody repeat. Away, away, stay, stay. Patiently, notice me. Patiently, notice me. Yeah. Someone wanted me to show the previous slide. I can do that right now very quickly here. So you select the rhyming words of lyrics and jumble them up to display them. Students match the words that rhyme. You can show the symbol as well if you want, yeah? So once they've done that, now we're going to do the gap fill. They don't know at the point, but now I say, now I'm going to give you a text where you have to put the words in. And the text will be a bit hard because it's from a song. But now you know the words rhyme, it should help you do the song, yeah? And so now they get the first part. So summer went away, and so they know that away rhymes with stay, so still the yearning stays. Now they don't know yearning, but they may be able to do this exercise a bit better because they're using the rhyme, yeah? And once they're done, then we check the answers by listening to the song and reading the lyrics. So let's go through it again. Match the words that have the same sound. When you have those words matched, do the gap fill to put the right matching words in the place. Then when you've done that, we find the lyrics video, which I'm going to share with you now, and we listen to check.
Summer went away, still the yearning stays. I play it cool with the best of them. I wait patiently, he's gonna notice me. It's okay, we're the best of friends. Anyway, I hear it in your voice. happen.
Okay, so you can see there, in a way, for the pronunciation, it even makes it more, like, then you could do the listen and repeat again, like, bodies, party, splashes. Like, they're almost going to be kind of saying it in the same sing-songy way, and they're using that as the model for the pronunciation. So that's a kind of fun. Yes, the song is my son's choice. My son who went to see Taylor Swift in that famous concert. Okay. Let's go back to sharing my screen here. Okay. So you can do this with any song that you like. As long as the song has rhyming words, you do that same thing. Let's just go over it one more time here. Select pairs of words that rhyme, mix them up. The students match the words to the sounds. You listen and repeat, then do the gap fill, where they fill it in, and then at the end they listen and check their answers, preferably with like a video which has the lyrics come up at the same time. And to do that, you search for like song lyric video on YouTube. Like if you type song lyrics, like if I put in More Than a Feeling lyrics video, I'll get a video for karaoke of More Than a Feeling with the lyrics. Okay. Using lyrics as well, another option is writing your own lyrics. So this is kind of like for more advanced learners or more musically inclined learners who might like to try this. Here is a technique, a famous technique. Some of you, if you have your pop rock knowledge of rock history, this is a very famous technique where you take a sentence from the news, a sentence from a book, a sentence about you, a sentence from an advertisement. You write the sentence in big letters, then they tear the sentence up into strips so that 1, 2, or 3 words appear on each strip. Yeah, so they rip up the strip so you've got just these words. You collect these all and jumble them up. Then students take turn drawing a piece of paper and reading it to the class. You write the words on the board. This creates song lyrics. And then they suggest what kind of music could go with these lyrics. This technique is called the cut-up technique. Has anyone heard this? There's a famous songwriter who used to do this. Yeah? Rosella knows. Vicky's heard of it. The famous one, also from my age group, David Bowie was one of the famous people who did this, which is why some of the lyrics seem so strange. Someone asked us so, like, it's called the cut-up. I would suggest this for B2, B1 maybe, at a pinch, B2, yeah. I do it with students where it's a sentence from the news, a sentence from a book, a sentence about you, a sentence from an advertisement. I mean, you can change this to be like, the idea is you want to get very different areas of like, if it's all sentences about you or stuff like that, no. Like it could be a sentence from a recipe, it's got to be different things because then the mix-up will sound stranger, but people will be will think of them as lyrics. So that's one technique. Another is to select a tune that everyone will know. A tune, that is. You provide the lyrics. Student change words to make their own version. They then sing their songs with the karaoke version of the song. So hold on a second here. I'm just going to I'm going to find my example. I have to search for it first. Okay. All right. So let's come back to this. So here we have a song. Now this is my song. This is one that I chose. So someone's asking me to go back a bit, but to here. So this one is they're choosing a song you choose a song they know. You provide the lyrics. Yeah. We maybe listen to it. Yeah. And then the students have to so this is the song. I'm going to get it so that you have the tune in your head. I'm going to share with you the lyrics video. We'll listen a little bit, okay?
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Okay, so we have the song. They've listened to it. Maybe we did an exercise, the gap fill or something like that. But now they get this. And they have to now, each gap is a syllable. They have to make their own version. So they've got to find words. This could be even like at B1 level. You keep saying you've got purple trousers, or you've got lots of homework, or you've got pepperoni, whatever it is. Like they've got to make something that fits there. Something you call hot, but it's not, whatever, right? Like, so they try to make their own version, and then they read it to each other. They don't have to sing. Like if you want, if students are up for it, they could try singing, yeah? But basically you take a song that the people know the tunes and then take out some of the words and they make their own version, yeah? Parody versions are also created by this process. Exactly, Aram. Parody versions, and advertisers do this. Lots of advertisers do this. This song became famous in Spain because it was used in different TV shows, for example, modern TV shows. But also you get advertisers who rewrite lyrics to old songs to make them about their products. Okay, let's keep going. Another one, song titles, using song titles to make a story. This is one that I did a long time ago with a co-author of mine, Robert Campbell. You take a mixture of names, places, or phrases, and they write a story. And these all come from songs. For example, with my friend Robert, students had to write a story called A Hard Day's Night, which is a Beatles song. And they had to include these names of people who were from Beatles songs, like one or two of these. One or two places that are all titles. They had to include this in their story. And one or two phrases. Yes, everyone's asking for the slides. I'll let Sylvia answer this later on. If the slides, I know there's a recording available. If the slides will be available, I'm not really sure. This is something we can discuss at the end with Sylvia. Okay. So there will be a recording though of this. So you can do this with anybody who's got a big song repertoire where you choose titles and they have to incorporate them into the story. Another version would be students make a story, they choose their own titles and they hide them in the story, and other students read the story, they have to find the song titles. Okay? All right, so those were activities with lyrics, lots of activities with lyrics. We've done now talking about music and like using music without music just as a source of inspiration. We've done music tunes, we've done lyrics, and let's end with video. Okay. Many songs now I find have their own lyrics videos on YouTube. So if you just type in lyrics or karaoke version, I use this. I do like doing singing with students. If you like to sing with students, I find these are really great now to help out with singing things. You know, like they see the lyrics come up at the same time, just like these boots are made for walking. And we do a sing along and I slowly turn the volume down so we can only hear the students sing. Yeah. Another thing that I've done is use stock videos. So stock videos are like free online videos that people can use for like movie projects, advertisements, etc. Pexels.com is one example that I've used. There may be others. I'm not selling you on any one of them. This is a free one. But basically what you do is you find one of these stock videos, show the clip, and students suggest what kind of music song goes with it. They then use that music, song, and the clip to write a story. So let's look at an example. Here's one that I got from Pexels.com. I show this to the students and I say, in pairs, think of the music that goes with this clip. And then they have to write, like, is this a story, an advertisement from a movie, play the music, explain the thing, etc. Yeah? Here's another one. Again, they work in pairs. They choose what song would go with this video clip. What is this for? An advertisement? Is it a music video for the song? Is it part of a movie, a TV show? They make a little text about the clip and the music. So again, it's like a writing prompt idea. Yes, Ennio Morricone. Yes, I agree. Could be. Okay, so there we go. Now, here we have like a bingo. So this one is a lot of fun. We're going to finish with this one as well, okay? This is going to be one of our last activities. What you do for this activity is you make a list of 12, you find a music video that has lots of things in it, and that's appropriate for the students. You make a list of 12 things that are in the video and use like objects, colors, actions. You show that list. Students choose 9 words and put them in a grid. Yeah? Then they watch the video and tick the things that they see from the 9 words. When they get the full 9, they shout bingo. You're going to do this now, but not with 9 words. You're going to do it with 6 because we don't have lots of time. So here is a list of words from a video I'm going to show you. On a piece of paper or your phone, just make a note of 6 of them. Choose 6 and make a note of 6. Okay? Choose 6 and make a note of 6 of these things. I'll give you 30 seconds. Have you got 6 things? So for example, I choose maybe fish and popcorn, ear, old TV set. Yeah, you have 6 things. Well, some of you do. Okay. So imagine you're the students. You have the 6 things written in a grid. Yeah. With students, I give them 9, so it lasts longer, but I'm giving you 6. And now we're going to watch a video. When you see something, you tick it off. When you tick off the last of your 6 things, type bingo in the chat and I stop the video. Okay. Who can type bingo first? Ready? So when you see the things, all right, let's go. Oh, we got a bingo. You got a bingo. Excellent. So what I'm not going to ask you to do it, but what I would do with students is like, okay, if you had bingo, you read out the things that you had, that you saw. So like, okay, I got the popcorn, the blue face, etc. Yeah. So let's go back to my thing here. So that video, if you're of a certain age, you will remember that video. I remember that video, but it's like, I think it's great because it had so many different things in it. Yeah. Um, but you can use it really easily. You can do it like with other things, with colors for low-level students, etc. Yeah, and it's a really fun like activity with the video, simple vocabulary. They're engaged. The key thing, remember, is you write lots of words, like 12, 14, and they choose some words, because that way different people will have different things, which makes it more of a game. Okay. So yes, there we go. Then another one that we're not going to do now, but I'll just explain, is you find a music video that the students might not know, and you prepare some questions. You show the video with no sound. So you just show the video, and they discuss the questions, and then they watch it again with sound. So for example, these are the questions. Is this song fast or slow? What kind of instruments are playing? What kind of voice will the singers have? What are the lyrics about? Is it a love song? Is it a party song? Guess what they're talking about, etc. Yeah, and so they just watch the video and they guess, and then you play it again with the music, and usually then they're really listening carefully, and they're either surprised or whatever. The key here is to find a video that you don't think they will know. Yeah. So we're coming to an end. I went rather quickly, but I wanted to give time for questions and also to talk like at the end here. Let's just review what we looked at. We started off by talking about music as a vehicle for discussion. Music is such an important part of students' lives and of everybody's lives that you can always find something to talk about. So you can use it to talk about your personal stuff. You can use it about about instruments that you like or don't like. You can use it to make questionnaires, quizzes. You can use it for debating topics, etc. It's a safer area for debate. Then we looked at tunes. Remember the tunes activities? There were things like, what advertisement would this be for? What kind of people like this music? If this is a scene from a movie, who are the people, action, and place in the scene? Doing quizzes from like movie genres and things. Then we looked at a whole bunch of activities, I can't review all of them, for lyrics. Using lyrics in different ways, from planting them in your own language to different alternatives to a gap fill to writing their own lyrics and so on. And finally, we looked at using videos in a different way, from silent videos to using music videos with lots of things in them that students had to guess. Yeah? So we're around 5 minutes before the end here. I see that the Q&A has been coming up, and other people might have questions. So Sylvia, I don't know if you are there and you want to join us again to go through the
I am here indeed, and I've just been enjoying the music so much. One of the participants said that this is such an energizing session for teachers. It's an energy boost. And we underestimate the mood change that music could bring into a situation. So I think you reminded us on all these, the incredible potential, the incredible power here, not just for language, but also just energy and mood.
Yeah. No, it always does. And one of the things I noticed, Sylvia, and I'll tell everybody else, is I still enjoy singing a song with students, but I find it harder these days, especially with younger students, to get them to do it. But when they do it, it is so good to sing a song in class, singing together. I used to do it when I was a young teacher in Mexico all the time. Like every class we sang a song. And then as I got older, I don't know, students were a bit different, but yeah. By the way, final tip, if ever you do want to sing songs with students in class, is I play the music at the same time loud, and I say we all sing together, or just read it if you don't want to sing, and then people start singing, and then I turn the music down at certain points, and you just hear the students' voices, and I turn it up again quickly, and so that was a lot of fun. There are questions that I see in the chat.
There are, yes, for us. Yeah. I think I wanted us to start with a little bit of your resources. Michelle is asking, where do you use your clips? Is there a place where you go to extract the sound clips?
So I was using YouTube, which some of you saw and everything. Extracting the song clips, those little clips of music, was from a thing called Artlist.io. I'll type it into the chat. Artlist.io. And I think it's a mixture of AI and also musicians sharing clips. Like it's all free downloadable clips. Like it's not pirated stuff or anything. I think some of it is AI, but that's why it says Artlist.io. Like I guess if I paid, I would get that removed. But for the purposes of the activities, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, good one,
Okay.
Laura. Face the music. So that's where I was using the little clips of music for like the soundtracks for the
Yeah.
advertising, stuff like that. Yeah.
And we also have Irene wondering about the different ages that you work with. And you talked a bit about the levels. You said at some point, oh, this is a B2 level. Is there perhaps any adaptations that you would do, or from your experience, for younger learners or for adults as well?
Um, so lots of these can be done with younger learners. I think it's a selection of the songs and the music, actually. It's more than the activity, it will depend on the music. The more creative activities where they have to write more, just talk, produce more English would be higher levels. But the choice of songs would be the stuff that would be for like younger, like you choose different songs, like the planted words, you could do that even with children at A2, for example, if you chose the right song that wasn't too hard and stuff. Yeah. I do have a couple of other slides that I'm going to share at the end, Sylvia. Let's not forget those. But,
Yeah, let's we can keep one of these. We can show the next slides as we talk about what's coming up in terms of. I know that a lot of participants were very, very interested in rewatching these. So this will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, and in the next slide, you will be able to go to in the QR code where you are able to see the channel for our YouTube channel, and this will be uploaded there. You can rewatch it, pause it, take pictures if you didn't have the time, and we want you to be able to use and re-watch these and share these with your students. And it will be uploaded, yes, I guess next week. So our team is doing its best here to try and keep up, and we thank you so much for your interest. Now, I wanted, before we close, to perhaps give us a little bit, if somebody's not using music in their classroom. I mean, now you gave them so many ideas. Any final sort of ideas for motivation or inspiration? How do you see your students change as a result of these kinds of lessons?
Me personally, what I
Yeah,
would do
your
with these
experience.
kinds of lessons, well, the biggest change or the biggest gratification is when a student says, "Can we do this again?" Or when like the next class, "Can we do this activity again?" Or "I really like this activity." I see them definitely like as a motivational thing and also changing the atmosphere in class. The one thing I would advise is that make sure that you're okay with some students saying, "I don't like the songs you chose." So, and that's why sometimes getting the students to choose it, depending on their age, might get a bit sensitive. You know, like some teenagers might get really mean to each other, like, "Oh, you like that? That sucks," or whatever. Like, "Oh, I hate this." So, as long
Yeah,
as you're
there's
okay with
also
someone saying,
taste.
"Oh, you're like your old person music," but I'm fine. I'm like, yeah, it's old person music, but you'll like it. But also, like, I kind of know the songs, even old people songs that students will like from advertising and so on. But that is the only warning I would give. But 99% of the time, it changes the energy in the class. It's motivating. Students ask to do it again. It also helps them remember. How many people in the world learned like some of their English through songs?
Through
So
songs, absolutely. Yeah. So here we are at the end of another webinar in our series, The Artist as a Teacher, where we looked at integrating the arts into the curriculum. And we want to thank Lindsay for this wonderful, wonderful session and all the ideas and the energy that you brought with us. Lindsay, thank you so much. We will
thank
be,
you.
there are questions about the next webinar. The next one is coming up. And it's May, that's May 27th. And I will be taking the floor, and I'm very, very sort of honored to do that and talk about museum activities, using museum resources, going beyond the classroom, and thinking about how we could be using art museum activities with our students. And then we also got things planned for July as well, and we will be announcing them very, very soon on our website. The certificates for these, they go out. And Lindsay, yes, if you want to add
Yeah.
something.
When you finish, I'm going to put the slide with the QR codes, and I'll put a bit of music for 1 minute so that people can get the QR codes with everything, and we'll finish with that. Okay?
Okay, great. That sounds lovely. So here we are at the end of another webinar. The participants will receive their certificates, and at the end, there is a little bit of there is a survey for the webinars, which we would love you to complete. So, yes, Lindsay, go on with the music.
Okay. So I'm going to show you the QR codes, which had lots of those things that you can scan. Some of you might not have got them, so I'm going to put that slide up. We're going to finish with that. I'm going to play you the end of one of the songs that I really liked in this thing. So I'll just go back to that slide there so you get it, and then continue playing this. Thank you very much, everybody. See you.